We have Dr Uma Naidoo in the doctor's kitchen with us today.
Celebrated as the world's first triple threat in food and medicine,
she is a Harvard-trained psychiatrist,
award-winning chef, and expert nutrition specialist.
Doctor's Kitchen. Recipes, health, lifestyle.
What are we cooking today?
So we're using a recipe from Calm Your Mind with Food, Mediterasian eggplant. And the reason I developed this recipe is eggplant actually helps anxiety, which I'll talk with you about in the podcast. And we're going to, these are washed eggplants, we're going to slice them in half and score them and then sear them on the pan with some avocado oil.
So I'm going to do that on like a medium heat, let's say?
About medium heat.
So I'm going to slice these, score them, and you are going to talk us through...
And I'm going to make what we're going to brush on the eggplants when we put them in the oven.
Ah, okay, fine.
Because they have some delicious spices, and the idea is to combine some spices from Korea, so gochugaru, then we're adding some Indian spices,
Are there any health
chili
benefits
powder.
of the gochugaru and the chili?
Yes, so they both made from chili, and so they contain capsaicin. Not only does it help with the flavor and deliciousness, it impacts metabolism. Capsaicin is added in pain, in different pain compounds and things like that. So lots of good benefits. Remember, when it's a spice, it also has those antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties.
Gotcha.
So what I'm doing is I'm adding the dry spices to a little bit of sesame oil. The recipe is in the book, and this is all to kind of create a little almost marinade to brush on the eggplant before we put it in the oven.
Gotcha.
Some vinegar, coconut aminos.
Am I scoring symmetrical enough for you?
This is beautiful.
Okay, good.
I have a feeling you've cooked before. I just think you might have. But if you could just pass me some of the salt, add a little bit of salt. Now, eggplant is a delicious vehicle because it doesn't have much flavor in it. So that's why we're adding in something that's really going to make it more flavorful. We're going to brush this on. Now, if you want, a little bit more flavor, I would say right here we have enough marinade for one eggplant. Because I like a little bit more flavor, I probably put maybe twice the amount of this in the recipe when I make it at home. But it's really up to you. If you were just getting used to this and you want a little bit of, a slightly milder flavor and then build up your recipe as you get used to it, you could do it that way too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess some people are, let's say, sensitive to chili. There's some
and
people
the
in the
spiciness.
Who are very sensitive to chili.
Right.
Who like hold down the chili.
Hold down the chili, exactly.
But we've got our oven preheating at 180 degrees centigrade.
Yes, that's in Celsius.
This already looks gorgeous. This is just the gochugaru, the cumin.
With all of those spices
Beautiful.
And the coconut aminos, rice, wine vinegar.
Benefits of using coconut aminos over soy?
It's if someone is sensitive to soy and still wants that depth of flavor. It's just an alternative made from coconut. So high heat, we're using a little bit of avocado oil. But
am I using a bit of salt on this?
Yes, that is a good idea.
Okay.
Because, eggplant will need that extra salt.
Yeah, a tiny bit of salt on the eggplant. And some people like to salt the eggplant before and draw out water. Is that really necessary?
It's not necessary in this recipe, and I'll tell you why. We're searing it to get a little bit of color.
Gotcha.
Then we're going to brush on this delicious marinade and put it in the oven to bake. So you're actually going to be good for that.
Gotcha.
But other recipes, yes, people try to take out the bitterness, but I found in this particular one, I'm saving you a step because you can actually just go straight to the flavor profile and have that and enjoy the recipe that way.
Okay. And we're using our non-stick pan here, the one that we
sear it.
Yeah, to sear it. We usually hide it in a cupboard that we only bring out if we're making pancakes or galettes or something like that. It's okay to use a non-stick pan every now and then. We just try and use stainless steel wherever possible.
Wherever we can.
And this one isn't fitting. So
you can leave him out.
Yeah, I can leave that. You know what? I'm going to chop this guy in half. Is that all right?
That is totally
I'll just
fine.
leave him
See,
here.
this is what you need to be able to do.
This is what you need to do.
Be flexible with the recipe.
Yeah.
Some of the anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties of eggplant impact glucose metabolism. So eggplant, believe it or not, helps anxiety and can actually help your glucose metabolism.
Gotcha.
So, there's great research behind this, and it seems like a really humble vegetable, but there's some good science behind it.
Definitely.
And I think that unless you're sensitive to nightshades or if you really can't eat it, and some people are actually allergic, it's something to add to your repertoire in a flavorful way.
If you wanted to use something else in place of eggplant for this particular recipe, are there any go-to ingredients that come to mind?
Yes, so easy to do a cauliflower steak.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You can do this with salmon. You talked to me about salmon earlier.
Yeah.
You can use exactly this method.
Nice.
You might change the temperature depending on how you like the doneness of your salmon.
Yeah.
You can switch out the oven for an air fryer.
Yeah.
Other vegetables that you like, use the same marinade, toss it in that, air fried or put it in the oven.
All right, I'm going to use a
That's
wooden spoon because I
probably-
don't want to
Yeah.
touch. How's that?
That's great.
Yeah?
That's beautiful color.
Great.
That's what you need. The thing about using a stainless steel or ceramic pan here is that the eggplant would stick.
Yeah.
And as long as you have PFOA-free pans, which I know you do,
Yeah.
you're okay. And you can
Yeah.
just use those once in a while.
So
Let's
the
put it
two-
on the tray.
Yeah.
And we can brush on
Some of that marinade.
the marinade. Yeah.
Great. And I've got a little brush here. I can already tell like a lot of this aubergine is already cooked quite a bit. A lot of the
It's-
water is released.
That's right. It's a little bit. It's gotten some flavor on it, and the spices with the gochugaru has a little bit of sugar in it, and that also helps the browning. But remember that that's mixed in with. We're not adding. There are other recipes where you could add sugar. We're not doing that because of our brain health. Gochujang has a little bit of sugar in it.
Yeah.
And we're using that to get that delicious brown flavor because
Yeah.
with the other spices, it'll look delicious when it comes out of the oven.
Yeah, because I've struggled to find a gochujang that doesn't have high corn fructose syrup and a number of other
You have
ingredients
to
that
be
we know.
careful, and you can make your own.
You can make your own.
You can make your own because it takes gochugaru. I use a miso paste. It's
Okay.
pretty easy to do that if you cook, and that way you control the sugar.
Yes, yeah.
You know, just-
Oh, this,
yeah, but
this
it's pretty
fourth
easy. You
aubergine
would
looks a
make-
little bit sad, like it's been cut up here, but
But see, that makes the recipe flexible.
Exactly.
And it's good that people can know that. So now you're just going to brush on before you have your sheet pan ready
Okay, yeah.
with your parchment paper, which is excellent.
yeah.
And you
Well,
brush
this
that on.
wasn't me. This was food producer Orla who who brought all this together for us.
Yes.
Thank you, Orla.
Now that you've got the seared, beautiful flavor onto your eggplant, I think that you're going to see how that color develops.
Yeah.
And we're going to pop it in the oven for a little bit, for probably about 20-25 minutes. And I actually watch to see
Yeah.
ovens are different, oven temperatures are different. You want it to bake through and have a little bit of crispiness on the top.
Yeah.
But as long as it's baked through, it's super delicious. And sometimes, because eggplant needs a little bit of, I wouldn't say extra salt, but for the flavor,
Yeah.
you might taste it and add a sprinkle of salt on the top.
Gotcha, okay.
When you're adding your chopped scallions and your chopped serrano and cilantro and sesame seeds. So
Gotcha. I think we're good for the marinade. I'm just gonna
that looks excellent.
need
I'm gonna
these.
pass that
And then
to-
this just goes in the oven.
That goes in the oven. You're gonna leave it in to bake. Now, if you prefer an air fryer, you could do that
Yeah.
as well. And then we'll just chop the toppings.
Okay. How many scallions are we using?
I would say for that, maybe 2 or 3 scallions is what you need.
Yeah,
You need
okay.
maybe half a serrano to 1, depending on how spicy you like it.
Okay.
And
And
then
do you like
just, I like the red.
All right. We'll go red.
Then some cilantro and some sesame seeds, which we'll add at the
Okay.
end.
Do you want to cut these on an angle?
I love them on a bias, yes, on an
Okay.
angle. So excellent. Thank you for doing that.
that's all right.
Can you cook with me more often? Be my sous chef.
I think everyone needs like a sous chef. at home,
Exactly.
you know, just to
I'll,
sort
I'll
of.
come and be yours next time.
Yeah. Do you tend to
Which is
go
great.
organic yourself? Is that something
You know,
that you're?
I do, yes, I try my best to do that, and I try to use either CSA, which is basically a farm that will deliver fresh vegetables to you in the
Right.
summer, local farm. And that if I don't have time to make it to the farmer's market, these farms in your area will deliver to you based on this community share. I do try to go organic because that is going to be better, but you know, not everyone has the same level of access, and
Yeah.
organic is much more pricey.
Yeah.
So a few things that I talk about are always go for the whole food rather than the processed version of it. So eat the orange or the banana versus, you know, the banana and some kind of a muffin.
Yeah.
Or the orange juice, which has, in the US, a lot of added sugar and the fiber removed.
Oh right.
So it's
Gosh, they
just
add
eat-
sugar to it as well.
they add sugar to it.
Bloody hell.
To a lot of the brands, they actually, why would you, because
Yeah, yeah.
oranges are sweet. So have the whole food rather than the processed version. And if you can afford organic and it's within your budget, get the organic. But if not, follow guidelines. The equivalent in the UK, I'm not sure what it might be, but we have the Environmental Working Group in the US.
Yes.
And they have the Dirty Dozen
Yes.
foods that you want to try to buy organic, and the Clean 15 that you can relent on and not necessarily buy organic each time.
Yeah.
That's one guidance. The other option is buy, for example, strawberries are often the top of the bad list.
Yes.
To try to get organic, buy them frozen organic.
Yes.
They last longer, more cost effective. So those are options.
That's a really good point.
With.
I think the sort of halo of the sort of snobbery around frozen food being not as good.
Because
it's sort of waning, right?
It's waning, and people I think misunderstand what we mean. I don't mean frozen dinners, which along with Pop-Tarts, another great invention of the US. But one I can't stand behind. But frozen foods, frozen dinner is a different thing. And no judgment on that. It's just it's not going to have the nutrients you need.
Sure.
And if you look at the food label, it's going to be long and lengthy with words you don't recognize, and that's what we're referring to. But frozen berries, frozen cauliflower, you had frozen peas earlier.
Yeah.
So I think it's not the frozen pizzas and frozen dinners we're talking about. It's just the frozen veggies and berries and stuff.
So we've got our lovely coriander leaves. We've got everything prepped here. We can just chill now. Been about 20 odd minutes, would you say?
Yes, it's been about 20 to 25 minutes. I want people to watch their oven temperatures because it might cook up sooner. If you like it on the more crispy side, the only thing is you don't want it to burn.
Gosh, this looks beautiful.
And like I said, when you taste it, if you need a little extra sprinkle of salt, you can do that. I would sprinkle the sesame seeds first.
Sesame first, yeah. Okay.
And then I would top, just in any order, top the other things.
Okay. You're testing my food stylist skills here.
Exactly. Well, I know that you're very good at it. Perfect. And then cilantro and chili. So that's why I chose the red serrano.
Yeah. Good shout.
We tend to get more red serrano, and it just adds a different color. And then someone who doesn't eat the serrano could pick that off.
Yeah, exactly.
You've made that look really gorgeous. I'm going to have to take some photographs.
Good. Yeah, no, you should. Okay, well, I'm glad it's met your approval. I'll just put some of the outside.
It's lovely, and I like it on your special logo plate.
Yeah.
I hope you're going to start selling those plates soon.
Shall I put a tiny drizzle of around the outside?
You can.
Or
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
It's a healthy fat.
Yeah.
It looks pretty. This is Mediterrasian eggplant from my book, Calm Your Mind with Food. The recipe is there. It has a lot of brain benefits, including improvement of anxiety. It actually helps lower blood pressures. And eggplant actually helps with your glucose metabolism.
If you're going to use some of this here. I do like the marinade.
I like the aubergine.
Oh, this one's really good.
Quite a lot. I can do that spicy.
It's those that are spicy.
Yes.
Should I take them out? I've got loads of them.
No, I think you can do with that.
I don't want to.
How are you finding that?
Really nice.
Yeah, good. Mate, I don't know how you're doing with that chili, because that is a lot of chili.